Here's the list and order of snakes we'll see and learn about in this video. There'll be a part 2 with the other clips I captured at Colin's house. This is part 1. Click like and subscribe, and let's learn about these beautiful snakes. The Mexican Cantil, Echistrodon bilonitis, a pit viper found in Mexico and Central America. The average length of this species is 2 feet. Other common names include the Mexican moccasin. The genus of the Cantil, Echistrodon, may sound familiar to some of you. That's right, the copperhead and cottonmouth are also species belonging to the Echistrodon genus. There are different species of Cantil, which were once subspecies of this one. Cantils are born with the bright greenish, yellowish tail tips, which they use to lure in prey. This behavior is called caudal luring, sticking the tail straight up in the air, wiggling it around like a worm to attract prey. As they age, the brightness of this tail coloration fades a little bit, but in my experience, this fading isn't as drastic as copperheads and cottonmouths. Adults still retain some of that different coloration tail tip, which you've probably seen on this one, even though it's an adult. Cantils possess a hemotoxic venom for subduing prey. My favorite thing about Cantils is that facial marking. Just incredible. Echistrodon bilonitis. The slender hog-nosed pit viper, Porthidium Ofri Omas. This is a species found in Central America, and also a species I don't know much about. They average in length of about 1.5 feet to 2 feet long. And with this species, females grow larger than males, and the body, unlike the Mexican Cantil that we just saw, is a much more slender build compared to the heavy body of the Cantil. Now the pattern on this snake is incredible. The blotchy pattern, but most of all, that orange stripe that goes down the back. That's my favorite thing about them. Now they have hemotoxic venom used to subdue prey, which would consist of rodents, lizards, and even frogs. Now the one that you see in this video is pretty much a sub-adult. Not quite a juvenile, but not an adult. Colin did have a few others that were closer to the baby side, extremely tiny, could probably coil up on a $50. We are about to see 3 species of forest cobra, starting with the white-lipped forest cobra, Naja melanoleuca, found in Africa. And the forest cobras are the largest species of true cobra, those belonging in the genus Naja, growing up to 10 feet long. Forest cobras were originally just one species, the one mentioned here, Naja melanoleuca. They have been separated into 5 different species. The next one in this video is Naja guineensis, the black forest cobra. And this is where the issue of common names comes into play, because Naja melanoleuca is also sometimes referred to as the black forest cobra. But genetic differences between guineensis and melanoleuca is what led to the separation into different species. The third species of the forest cobra complex we'll see is this, Naja savanula, the West African banded cobra. Compared to the other 2 we saw in this video, this species is much more visibly different with the beautiful yellowish bands. These to me are the most beautiful of the forest cobras. The venom of the forest cobra is highly neurotoxic. Forest cobras in general are considered one of the most difficult cobras to handle due to their quick movements and nervous behavior. They're almost like mambas in cobra form. They're great at climbing, great at swimming, great at being on the ground. All around, just an incredible species of snake. The other 2 species of forest cobra that we didn't see are Naja subvulva and Naja perioechabari. Now although I didn't get as much footage of the other 2 species of forest cobra, Which out of the 3 forest cobras that you saw is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. The Samar spitting cobra, Naja samarensis, also called the southern Philippine cobra. As this common name suggests, this snake is native to the Philippines. Now the average length of adults is anywhere from 4 to 5 feet long, and their coloration is incredible. The yellow, the black, sometimes even green coloration. Very beautiful and highly toxic cobra. Now this species will feed primarily on rodents such as rats and mice, but they'll also feed on smaller reptiles or even amphibians such as frogs. But their main food source being rodents, that attracts them to where people are, leading to conflict. In the northern regions of the Philippines is another species of spitting cobra, the Philippine spitting cobra, Naja philippinensis. And this species ranks as the top 3 most venomous true cobras, based on tests done on mice. The most toxic of all the true cobras is the Caspian cobra, Naja oxyana. The red spitting cobra, Naja pallida, found in Africa. This is a medium-sized cobra. Doesn't get as long as some of the other species of Naja, averaging around 2 to 4 feet long. And this species is given the common name due to their coloration. Depending on where they're found, they can either be pale red coloration or even bright red. And they have the beautiful black coloration on their hood and an incredible black teardrop right under the eye. And we see 2 different red spitting cobras in this video. Both are babies, very tiny, very quick to spit, but only after they feel cornered. The first course of action was trying to flee. Like most spitting cobras, the venom of Naja pallida contains a mixture of neurotoxins and cytotoxins, and the spitting is used for defense. They capture prey just like any other venomous snake by biting and injecting venom. Have you ever heard of the red spitting cobra? The Brazilian lancehead, Bothrops mugini, found in South America, a massive pit viper, reaching lengths of 5 to 6 feet or even more. Now these massive vipers are considered one of the most difficult vipers to deal with. So similar to the forest cobra, how I mentioned people consider them to be one of the most difficult cobras to deal with, well, pretty much all Bothrops fall in that category for the vipers. Large size, typically very defensive, long strike ranges. One of the most common Bothrops you may have heard of is the fer-de-lance, feared in South America. Although fer-de-lance is sometimes used for many different species of Bothrops, the one that it's actually referring to is Bothrops asper. A very incredible fact about another species in the genus Bothrops, Bothrops duraca, is one of the top drugs of all times used for blood pressure is derived from venom of that species. How incredible is that? And this isn't the only snake in this video that we'll hear about a medication that's used by people derived from snake venom. But wow, what do you think of the Bothrops mugini? The pattern from the side almost looks like a copperhead's Hershey Kiss pattern, doesn't it? The red Carolina pygmy rattlesnake, Cistrurus miliaris. Although this one is red, not all of the Carolina pygmy rattlesnakes are this color. And there's also 3 subspecies: the western pygmy rattlesnake, Cistrurus miliaris streckeri, and the dusky pygmy rattlesnake, Cistrurus miliaris barbori. The average length of this snake is around 1.5 to 2 feet long, so not very big. The rattle on the pygmy rattlesnakes compared to those in the genus Crotalus, very tiny. You can only hear a faint buzzing from a few feet away. Another thing is, just like the cantil, baby pygmy rattlesnakes are born with a different colored tail tip to attract and lure prey. And these snakes are tiny when they're born. This one in this video is very small, and it's not baby. It's a little bit bigger, but still about the size of a $50. And this one also is incredible in person. The lighter coloration around the pattern is almost white. Such a stunning snake. I mentioned during the Bothrops about medication derived from snake venom. The Pygmy rattlesnake, the venom, is cytotoxic and hemotoxic, and it was used in the development of a drug, eptifibatide, a drug used to prevent clotting during a heart attack. And that's one of the things I always try to mention about snakes. They're healers naturally, out in the wild, eating animals that are sick, eliminating that disease, even diseases that can spread to us. When they consume that creature, it eliminates it and stops it right there. But we've also used their venom to create medications that help us in many ways. These two that were mentioned in this video are not the only medicines derived from snake venom. Incredible animals. And venom, I understand it scares people, but it's just another method of how these snakes capture food. They don't want to waste their venom on us. So the best thing you can do to avoid any problems out if you're walking or doing anything is just to keep an eye where you're stepping, where you're putting your hands. Keep your distance if you see one, and just leave it alone. They don't want to bother you. It's very simple. And let me know what you think of this little red pygmy rattlesnake. And I'm telling you, in person, this snake is unreal. This video does not do it justice. In part 2, we'll learn about and see even more beautiful vipers and cobras. If you want to see the original video with all the cell phone footage and handling of the snakes, that will be linked in the description. Also, Colin's Instagram will be linked in the description. Be sure to go check him out. But click subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified when I post part 2.